Okay, I am here with the Social Studies Department to talk about their classes that they have at the high school. And so we're going to start with Miss Mers, who teaches contemporary issues.
Contemporary issues is all about current events of the day, yes, but it's more than that. We talk about issues such as the use of drones, gun control, legalization of marijuana, terrorist organizations, activities, cybersecurity. All of these things are important to us in everyday life. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of interesting discussion, so I highly encourage you to take contemporary issues.
Okay. Another class that we have, and I always tell kids it's a social studies elective, but it's also really good for business majors too. So Mr. Boyd teaches economics, so I'll let him talk about that.
Yes. Good morning. I teach economics, or good afternoon, or whenever this is. I teach economics, so I encourage all of you guys to sign up and take a look at this. It is great for individuals that are looking at owning their own business. We take a look at the economy as a whole, so we focus on both macro and microeconomics. But a lot of what I focus on is real world application stuff, things that the kids can take out of, things that you guys can basically take out of the classroom, and ultimately be successful whenever you leave St. Genevieve High School. There are things such as jobs. We take a look at unemployment rates. We take a look at going out in different market structures, monopolies, oligopolies, perfect competition, monopolistic competition, and a lot of real-world things that you guys are going to be able to take outside of the classroom in order to be successful. So I encourage you guys to sign up, and hopefully I see you guys when you guys make it to the high school.
Okay, and then we have two classes that Mr. Keeker teaches that are really in my wheelhouse as a school counselor or helping profession. And I tell him too, Mr. Keeker, that psychology is good if you're going the medical field because there's a lot about the brain in there. So I'll let him talk about those two classes.
All right, the first class I'm going to talk to you about is psychology. Psychology is a wonderful class to take if you're going to go into any profession where you're going to interact with humans. We talk specifically in that first chapter about human behavior and psych disorders. That's the very first unit that we cover. A very interesting chapter for a lot of individuals in the class. We also focus on developmental psychology, and kids really apply developmental theories by major psychologists like Sigmund Freud, Jean Piaget, Erik Erikson to how we develop. It's a excellent class if you're interested in how the mind works, as Ms. Rowland pointed out. And I would highly encourage any student that is going into nursing, going into education, or any profession where they're going to interact with humans and understand human behavior better to take psychology. The second class that I'm going to talk to you about is sociology. Sociology, like psychology, is a half credit class or a one semester class. Sociology deals with groups and cultures and group behavior. So we really primarily focus on the different cultures around the world. We focus on how groups interact or how individuals interact within groups. We look at experiments by Solomon Asch. We look at an experiment called the Stanford Prison Experiment. We would look at several different experiments looking at individual behavior in the context of groups and how people interact within groups. Also in sociology, one of our last chapters we look at is deviance, and we look at prison systems, deviance in our society, and that particular chapter culminates with a study of a serial killer. We try to profile basically from his childhood to his adulthood what led to his later deviant acts later on in life.
So that class is really good if you're going to be a cop, lawyer, all those kind of things. So what about, you do Modern America, Ms. Mers? Okay, so I'll let you talk about Modern America.
Modern America, if you like American history, I think you'll really like Modern America. It's a concentration of American history since World War II. We do look at the major battles, the wars that we've had, Korean War, Vietnam War, Persian Gulf War, our time on the ground in Iraq and Afghanistan. But it's more than that. We also look at social issues of the day and how they have formed and shaped our country to where we are today, civil rights issues. We look at things like the JFK assassination conspiracy and how we managed to capture and kill Osama bin Laden. So we take a lot closer, more in-depth look at American history since World War II, and it's very interesting. So I hope to see you there.
Okay, and last but not least, we have a new class this year. we'll bring in Mr. Kraft, who's teaching Western civilizations.
All right, good morning. Western civilizations is basically an examination of the development of the modern Western world. And pretty much to describe it, I would say, if you've heard the other descriptions of the classrooms, this is a class that is several things. Number one, it's a class they'll be offered through college credit to teach it. You have to have a master's in history, and so it's more geared toward college. So it's a senior year course through St. Louis University. And number two, it's really a combination of all the other different disciplines of social studies as well. We'll incorporate, for example, psychology. We'll incorporate economics. There will be obviously history. It's more than just a history class. It is a look at entire civilization, Western Civ, which is basically the development of Europe and the United States. In terms of describing everything that we do, the one thing I would say is that we incorporate a lot of a lot of different aspects of just life in general. I would highly recommend that this would be a class, especially if you're looking to go on to higher education, and if you've taken psych or sociology classes like that before, they deal more with the present, where I will develop how those ideas have come to shape in the future. And also in terms of historical aspect, we look at the big question of why, and also the debate with that. And so I like to sometimes call it an adult history class, because we deal with issues like the development of Christianity, and just issues that if you've had other history classes before, by the time you're a senior, this will be much more of a college geared course. So that's pretty much it. And from there.
Thank you, social studies.